move for our third speaker. And third speaker is Janet Sabah. She's doing level 1, project 2, which is evaluation and feedback, her first speech. Because in that project there are 2 speeches and evaluation. From motivational strategies. Help me before that, Amani, you are the evaluator for a project. Can you read the purpose, please?
The purpose of this project for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to the second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he or she has applied the feedback received from his or her first speech.
Thank you very much. Janet, please, next time in your second speech, bring this paper as well, so you can give it to the other evaluators.
Yes, I have it.
Yeah, she will fill it.
Okay.
When you're going to do it again, bring the same paper.
This is the second one.
This is the
This is
second.
the second.
Yeah, but it's first.
No, this is
So
the second
it's
one.
It's still level 1.
Yeah, but it's second speech should be here. But it's the second speech. So it's her second speech. Very good. So that was it. No worries. So help me welcome her. Time, please, 5 to 7.
Her time is 5 to 7. 5, I'll show green, then yellow, then red, 30 second grace period to wrap up your speech.
Help me welcome Janet Sabah. Janet Sabah. Feed forward, feedback. Feed forward, feedback. Janet Sabah.
Interesting.
Feed forward feedback. I usually like to think of the idea of receiving feedback as the idea of moving you forward, right? Because feedback, it's kind of got that connotation of going backwards. But really the point of feedback is to move you forward to something more powerful, something more strong. Now, the interesting thing about this is part of what I was supposed to do was to apply my feedback from the first time I delivered the speech to this speech. And what happened is I lost those papers. You know, those papers that are up there, I could not find them all week preparing for the speech. And I needed that information in order to know what my evaluator, which was Wafa last time, had recommended for my next speech. So I decided to go through all my old manuals and those little comments that you guys fill out, and I just started looking at that and reading them and going through all them, and okay, you gotta watch out for this, you gotta watch out for that. And then I found it. I found the evaluation papers, because I was being way too organized and put it in some place I lose. And I realized a pattern. They all said the same thing. The ones from before and the ones from Wafa said the same thing. Slow down and reduce the amount of content. Because I have a habit of giving a lot of content, and because I want to get it in, I speed up too fast. Now the interesting thing is, because of the new Pathways program that deliberately asked me to look at that feedback to apply it to this one, I thought that was quite powerful. I finished my DTM, which is Distinguished Toastmasters, in the old program. And obviously we got feedback, but we were never deliberately told, look at that feedback for the next one. So I felt that was an eye-opening experience for me today. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to slow down and minimize the content. Now, the other piece of advice I got is that the picture needed to be bigger. Now, the last workshop that I gave was on differentiated teaching and instruction. And this was the meme that I put up there. And I'll read it to you as you look at it for a couple minutes. It says, for our fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. So I'm not sure the elephant's gonna make it. Our education system, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. And that was the focus of what I wanted to talk about regarding differentiated teaching and learning, which was a workshop that I actually gave here at AUK, which is why I wanted you to give me feedback on that introduction. Now, when I gave that presentation here a couple weeks ago, the other thing they said is too much content, right? Last time, I talked about nine concepts regarding differentiated teaching and learning. I felt that they were the most important, and I still believe they are, and I wanted to get it to you in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, what I found out is I probably fried some brains out, because what happens when it's so much information, you just zone out. Yeah. You just tune out. It's just too much. I can't stay with you. So today, we're just gonna work on 3. We're just gonna look at 3 of the guiding principles that I felt were most important to talk about regarding differentiated teaching instruction. And the first one was, well, the three of them are respectful tasks, ongoing assessments, and flexible grouping. These are probably the most important components of a differentiated teaching and learning. We have the teaching on one side, we have the learning on the other, but the umbrella of it are these three principles. Reflective tasks. Reflective tasks tells the student that everybody in here is important. Whether you're just learning how to do it or you're at an advanced level. We're all learning the most important things, and we're all learning at a very high level of brain activity, right? We're not this poor guy who's bored out of his mind because the task he's been given has not respected him as a learner, and it's just a lot of maybe boring things, and it's not engaging him in what he really needs in order to get ahead. It also says that you're going to use your brain here, and if you're not interested, I'm going to make sure you don't want to leave here without questions to inquire, to be interested, right? The next part is feedback. Feedback, ongoing assessments. In order to provide a differentiated teaching learning environment, you have to have ongoing assessments. It's actually the strongest part of our Toastmasters program, right? It's that learning cycle. You do it, you get feedback, you apply it, you do it again. You do it, you get feedback, you apply it, you do it again. Well, in the classroom, in order to really know who your students are, you have to have a lot of observations, maybe quick note cards, exit cards, what do you think? Concept checks. You have to constantly be determining if they are where they need to be or if you need to push them a little bit further. Now, we talk about assessment in three ways. Diagnostic tests that we do in the beginning, let's see what you know. And then the formative. As they're forming their learning, you're constantly giving them feedback, kind of like what we do here, right? Constantly telling them you're doing right, keep going, try this, try that, as they form their knowledge and skills. And then we do the summative to see, okay, how'd they do? And also providing you more information about where to go next. The last part is flexible grouping. I'm not sure how all of you were taught, but I was taught in a situation where there was the teacher at the front and 25 or 30 students in the crowd, and the teacher was just blah, 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 blah. Talk, 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 pouring information into our head, and then we would write, take it the same test. We all had the same practice activity, we all had the same message, and we all took the same test. There was no flexibility to that. We weren't engaging with other students. I mean, there is a time when maybe you need to have everybody together. But there are opportunities where students can work in pairs. Maybe somebody that knows with somebody that doesn't know. Maybe they can work in groups on a project. Flexible grouping takes into consideration what the student is ready for, what they're interested in, and how they learn best. I want you to take a minute and close your eyes and think of an experience, a learning experience in which you were really bored. The content was boring, what they were asking you to do was boring, the test was just a bunch of boringness. And now think about how you feel about that subject now.
Oh my God, I hate it.
Now think about a learning opportunity in which you were excited, you were engaged, you loved the topic, you loved the people that were with you doing the topic and the things that you were doing. And think about how you feel about that subject now. That's the impact that differentiated teaching and learning can have on every subject that a child is teaching. I think I went over time.
Okay, can I say
Exactly.
something?
Sure.
Dr.
Yes.
See, can I say something about the experience we have just had?
Yes.
You asked us to close our eyes and think of something boring we attended before and something interesting we attended before. What I thought of was a lecture by a very excellent professor in our faculty. It was so boring because I'm not auditory at all, and he kept talking for 2 hours. I understood nothing. But now I am